All right, it is summer revive time. So I'm shooting the summer catalog for Revive Skateboards, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. I've got 4 different shots today that I'm going to attempt to accomplish, and the first one is gonna be for the pro decks we're doing. This season was like a skull theme, I guess you could say, for it. So we have Aaron Cairo's skull, has got kind of a gem background, and then we have Doug's skull deck, and this is actually what I'm using as the kind of the inspiration for the background, which I'm gonna use, which you'll see soon. And then we have Johnny Geiger as well. We have a new pro for this season, John Hill. It is a long time coming on this, and whenever we turn somebody pro, their first board is always a Lifeline. So this is John's first pro model for Revive, and it's a Lifeline graphic, and this is going to get its own page in the catalog. So for the first one, since Doug has got a kind of like a mechanical kind of theme to it, I'm going to try to light this really dark and moody. So I'm going to take the boards and I'm going to line them up against this backdrop, or this sliding door. And it's going to kind of feel, I'm trying to get like an empty warehouse kind of vibe to it. All right, as normal, I'm using my Alien Bees B800. These are my studio lights. And to fire it, I'm going to be using the Pocket Wizard Plus X transceivers. So I have one, and then I have another one that's going to be on top of camera.
I like your umbrella.
Big old reflector attaches with the umbrella port to the top of it. Guy over there. I'm using this big boom so that my light will not be in my shot. It gives me a lot of control. So like I said, this light's gonna move. But basically I'm gonna go pretty high, probably as close as I can, not hitting the air conditioning duct up there. And I'm gonna shoot straight down on it, but I need power. I got the light on full power right now, and I want to eliminate the amount of ambient light in the room. So I'm going to hopefully get up to like F11 or something like that, which is going to bring down the ambient exposure in the room, and hopefully will add to that sort of like dark vibe to it. I'm going to lock myself down on the tripod, shoot a test frame, because I want my composition to be very specific so that later I've got plenty of room to add the text. I only use SanDisk cards and Western Digital hard drives. They're very reliable. I use 16 gig cards, which hold a good amount of images, but not too much. You never want to put all your eggs in your basket per se, so you want all your images in one card. It's bad, so if the card ever does fail, you don't lose your entire shoot. So I do try to split things over multiple cards. So I'm gonna shoot this at 200, at ISO 100, and F11. And let's see where the exposure falls. You can already tell that the boards are kind of crooked, so I'm going to have to move them ever so slightly. And my boom might be in the shot as well, so that's probably going to have to move a little bit. But, all right, let's just see where we're at. It's actually not looking that bad to begin with. We're definitely going to have some lighting issues that I'm going to have to work out. But overall, it looks pretty good. The boom arm or leg is in the shot, and also the angle of the top of the boards is where it works basically like a mirror. So through the reflection on the nose on Doug and Aaron's board, I can see the light basically. So which means I need to move the light out and then come in and then tilt it this way a little bit, and it should bounce. And it's gonna give me a little bit more fill under the tail of the board, so it's a little darker than I want it to be, and should eliminate that reflection on Doug and Aaron's boards. You're not seeing it on Johnny's, which means because the light is not above Johnny's, so it means that that's where the reflection is coming from. Yep, that's perfect. Now Aaron's.
On bottom.
Bottom. Move it to the right, please. Perfect, right there. A little bit back, it's too far now. Right there. Perfect. And Johnny's is actually looking pretty good. Actually, no, I take that back. Johnny's bottom needs to come to the left ever so slightly. There we go. Histogram looks pretty good. Still like some stuff in the shadows, and I'm a full stop away from pure white, so it's pretty dark and moody. For the second shot, we're going to be shooting the new Take Over the World deck. We've been working on this video for 3 years, and I'm so happy that it's finally coming out. But the problem is that the DVDs haven't arrived yet, but yet here I am shooting the catalog for it. Luckily, we're going to be doing 3 videos. We had Live Skate Die, Take Over the World, and the third video is going to be called Battle Stations, which is going to be coming out probably in another 3 years. But we're going to get there. The thing is, the DVDs all have the exact same layout. So after they're all said and done, they can sit on the shelf right next to each other. They're all going to look the same. So we kept the art direction fluent between them. So what I have is, luckily, I have an old copy of Live Skate Die. So I'm going to photograph Live Skate Die, but in post, I'm going to change Live Skate Die to Take Over the World. Since the board is black and very, very dark, I'm going to shoot it just straight up on white and make sure so I get that contrast. The bottom of the deck is pretty reflective, so I know I'm gonna have to bounce. And so I've got one B800 bouncing off the wall back there. I'm actually gonna change the angle of it though. I'm probably gonna bounce it directly off the side wall. Luckily, all the walls in here are white, by the way. So it basically works as a gigantic bounce reflector. So I'm probably gonna bounce off of that wall, come back in this side, and then this light I'm gonna bounce off that wall, which should hopefully get some interesting kind of shadows. All right, for this, I'm gonna switch off of the 85 to my 18 to 35, which is a pretty wide lens, because I'm gonna be a little bit closer to the board for this one. Actually, I use this lens for the cover of the catalog, which is this gnarly lip slide that John Hill did. And it's not the end of this part, but it's darn close. But it's probably like one of my all-time favorite skate photos I've ever shot. So I'll put the cover up right now over top of all of them. Super proud of John. So again, I got both these heads at full power, bounce light off the wall. I need to move the board, which I think I'm going to need to. I'll get Casey over there to kind of help adjust. But let's just see where we're at. Super, super dark, but I do like the quality of light that I'm getting out of this. So I'm like 3 stops under at the moment. But it looks like a lot more of the light's coming in from here, and this is working a lot more as just fill, which is good. So I'm going to open up to F4. See what we can do here. F4 is probably my favorite aperture to be shooting at. I really like it. The depth of field that comes out of it, even though you're not getting a lot of depth of field in the shot that I'm having right now, but I do like that aperture. Okay, so still a little dark. I want to stay at F4, so I'm gonna come up my ISO to ISO 250, which is still plenty of room on this sensor. I'm not gonna get any digital noise or anything like that. See where we're at. I do think that the light is gonna have to change a little bit though. So now we're a little bit bright, so I'm gonna go back down to ISO maybe 160. That should be kind of right. But this light is, I'm getting reflections on the left-hand side of the board. So to change that, I'm gonna move the light instead of going in that direction. I'm gonna try to bounce it this direction. Hopefully, a lot of it's gonna come right down the middle. The third shot I'm gonna do. This one is video game inspired. Normally, every summer we come out with sort of video game inspired graphics. We have 3 that we're doing this summer. So we have the Master Board, which is really cool. It's actually got silver foil in the sword right here, which is pretty awesome. We have the Fight series, or the Fight graphic. It's got all the riders that are on here, so it's sort of like who you're gonna pick, you know, so it's like a title screen. And then we have the Ambs Bros 2.0 deck, so lay them out. So I'm actually gonna go with a kind of an interesting composition on this. Normally I just like line the boards up, but 2 of these boards are a horizontal graphic and one of them is a vertical. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay them out just like this, and I'm gonna go like that for this one. And then we're gonna actually take SNES and NES cartridges and kind of lay them around it. These were not donated, we were borrowing these from Andy Schrock, and he's got some real freaking gems in here. And just link the second Zelda, the hardest video game ever. It's impossible. I don't think, there used to be this thing, I don't even think, well clearly they still exist, but I've never beaten the second Zelda straight up. I had to use a Game Genie to beat it. Yeah, that's how hard that game is. Okay, got them roughly, I already know that Final Fantasy is going to have to move, the bottom one, that SNES cartridge.
Secret of Mana or Final Fantasy?
Oh, I thought it was Final Fantasy. I thought it was Final Fantasy 1. Okay, I'm going to pop up, shoot it, see where we're at. Exposure looks good, the boards look good. That foil is actually not the most annoying thing in the world, which is super surprising. I thought the foil was going to be the biggest pain ever, but it's not. It looks really good. All right, fourth and final board shot here, and also going to be the messiest. So John's board is laid out sort of like with a beach vibe, I'm gonna say. So John's Lifeline board, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put sand down. So I'm gonna put a big pile of sand right in the middle of my laminate here, and then shoot John's board directly on top of it. This is going to be dirt. Try to keep it in as much of a uniform kind of pile as possible. Just gonna push down the board slightly at the bottom. Looks perfect. All right, well that's how I shoot the skateboarding, or the skateboard side of the Revive Summer Catalog. I hope you guys enjoyed the process. We knocked out all 4 shots. It worked out really well, minor complications. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate your likes, as always, your comments, and if you really thought this was interesting, please share this with your friends so they can check it out as too. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, because I do every season here. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Hey, this is Brian Ames. Please click the subscribe button that you see right there, and you'll subscribe to my videos. From now on, I'm going to be eating a lot of peppers. It's going to, oh man, it's going to be great. Bye.